New show alert. It's a new show alert, baby. It's really not a new show, but it's a new area. It is Love and Marriage, Chocolate City style, baby. Love and Marriage DC. Let's get in. Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for Love and Marriage DC. Listen, now, I don't review Love and Marriage Huntsville, but it's been a huge hit. Love and Marriage Huntsville has been a huge hit. I do pop in periodically and I actually watch, but I don't review the show. But here we are at the beginning. I'm starting off at the beginning. I'm going to swing around here with Chocolate City, and that's the name of the first episode. This is season 1, episode 1, and it's called Welcome to Chocolate City. And listen, I'm here for it. I like Chocolate City. Oh, I do. So I'm here for it. And first thing we see is the resurgence of an old gal, young old gal that we already know, Miss Monique Samuels. And she opens the show and her line is, "I'm back." Yes, you are. And that raised so many different questions. We all know Monique from her and her husband, Chris, from Real Housewives of Potomac. I'm going to say this. Let's get this out of the way right now. I'm going to get this out of the way right now. How this is going to go as pertains to me in this show. I'm not gung-ho about Monique and Chris's storyline. So I'm just telling you all now. So we can get started now. Y'all want to rumble? We can rumble in these comments all day long because this is where I stand. I don't really care about what they talk about because the Chris and Monique story is nothing but the same storyline that they've brought over here from Real Housewives of Potomac. Their storyline was kind of for me on Real Housewives of Potomac. And you know I've been doing Potomac since it's been in existence. I'm a fan of Potomac's. But listen, I've always felt like on their storyline of the problems in their marriage. It's not that's not enough to make me stay here. That wasn't enough to make me click on. And I'm going to tell you why I clicked on. It had nothing to do with Monique. What drove me to the channel and to this premiere episode is none other than Carlos King, of course. Anybody could say anything they want to say. Carlos King and Mona Scott Young are the two baddest that ever did it when it comes to reality TV and melanated folk. Carlos King is the king and Mona Scott Young is the queen. And I wouldn't care what anybody says. I am here for this program solely because of Carlos. Carlos and his reputation. Carlos and my love for what he does and how he does it and the way he's able to maneuver it. That's why I'm here. I darn sure ain't here because of Monique. She cool, but I ain't here for her like that. It's Carlos. The proof as to what Carlos King does and how he does it is the fact that she's here. Monique's downfall and her leave that she took from reality TV was tumultuous. It was bad. The whole fighting and the lawsuit, it was bad. And she swore she was done. And there's only one person that could talk her back into it. And that was Carlos King. That's why I'm here. He bad. He's bad at what he does. He is a master at making people love him and making people trust him in this realm, the reality TV realm. I always look at him, he's the handler. He's the handler. And I ain't seen nobody to do it as well as him, other than Mona. Him and Mona, baby, they handle you like Olivia Pope. That's how they handle you. So that's why I'm here. But this is the thing with Monique Samuels. She has her storyline, and that's basically what it is. Her and Chris, The fact that Chris thinks that he's the best husband in the world, and she's like, no, not really, you're not. You're really doing the bare minimum, but you think you're really doing something. And she just wants him to figure out that no, you know, what you're doing is what you should be doing. It's not, you don't deserve a prize for the piece that you're actually adding. And it's cool. And then you need to learn how to talk to me. This is the same story. You know, this is their marriage. They're 9 years into their marriage. They rolling up on the 10th year. This is their marriage. This is their marriage. You are low man on the totem pole. Always have been. He used to talk to her any old kind of way. His mama talked to her any old kind of way. And she ain't never been happy with the treatment that she gets, other than the support and the lifestyle that she's afforded. That has always been the storyline. It's sad. It's sad. And they're working on it. And he's working on it. And they're going through counseling and all of that. I'm not reading. I'm not dragging. This is just I'm being blatant. And I'm giving you the nuts and the bolts. She feels underappreciated. He's working on it. That's her storyline. But here is the thing that is very groovy about Love and Marriage, DC, and Carlos King, and how he's handled this. She's still the star of the show. Initially. Because listen to me, and listen to me close. Come in close, my loves. She is the star of the show initially. Because that's how reality TV goes. Most times, the person that's the star of the show, by the end or by the middle, aren't the star of the show anymore. There goes Mariah Huck, Nene Leakes, and I can go on and go on and go on. We all know, as you know, I love my Married to Medicine. But Married to Medicine, Mariah Huck was supposed to be the star of the show. But then there was this little short brown woman named Claude, honey. And that kind of derailed that, didn't it? Nene lost grasp a couple times. And now when you think Real Housewives of Atlanta, you start thinking about Kenya Moore, and you start thinking about Candy, and you understand? But it was Nene. Nene was the belle of the ball. And now she's not even on the show. Mariah Huck isn't even a part of the Married to Medicine. She created the show and isn't a part of it anymore. So, listen. So, for right now, Monique Samuels is that girl. And I love the role that he put her in, because her storyline is not strong enough, really, to carry a show like this. It's not. Especially with the other castmates that they have her with. Monique's storyline's not enough to carry. She's pretty. She is pretty and all of that. And she has a definite type of a thing about her. You know, sometimes she's the girl you love to hate, and sometimes she's the girl that you feel sorry for, and sometimes she's the girl that you want to root for. But she's cool. She's cool. But not enough to carry this show. But he put her into the role. She's sort of the narrator as well. She's the first seat at the View. She's the Whoopi here. And she's walking us through. She opened the show. She's telling us what's going on. She tells us how Carlos King got her to come back, and she is stuck with her brand. Remember, we were like, what's going on with this brand? That's not for lazy moms. And we're like, okay, girl, well, it seemed like it just wasn't working out. She's stuck with it. And very first thing we see here, we're seeing her, what you would say, her come up. Because she's still doing her not for lazy moms, and it's ramped up. This event, much better than she had an event when she was on Real Housewives of Potomac. This event was definitely ramped up. It was definitely more lavish. It looked good. It ran good. It was cool. It was cool. So she's sticking with her thing. She has another brand that she's working on as well. She's doing her thing. She hasn't gone away. She didn't fade into obscurity at all. And Carlos King brought her back. He sees that she good TV. But again, he put her in, it's like he handled her. He crafted her a space. So Monique, hang on to it, because you got something good here, girl. You got something good. You're the belle of the ball right now. Hang on. And you'll understand more as we go forward, where I tell you about how she don't have a hard time being the belle of the ball this whole time. Right now, she's kind of like she's leading us. She's our James Earl Jones of this show for right now. Okay, so let's go on. Let's talk about some of the other folks that are actually on here. Okay, so we got Ashley Silva and her husband, DJ Quicksilver. Yeah, you know him he's famous, world famous DJ from back in the day. He done worked with some everybody. He threw out some names, Janet Jackson and a few other people. You know, do what he do. They've been married 13 years. They got 2 kids, a little boy and a little girl. Little girl's 9, little boy's 14. Ashley is going to be, you're going to have to watch her. Now, Monique, you're going to definitely have to watch Ashley. Ashley is the mean girl. Ashley is the shit stirrer. Ashley is the wild card, if you will. I saw just so quickly, anything might fly out of Miss Ashley's mouth. No apologies. No apologies. She's very comfortable with Ashley. Very comfortable with standing in what Ashley feels and what Ashley wants to say. You gotta watch her, honey, because she could very easily be the breakout star here. DJ Quicksilver, I've never, become, I was never enamored with him. I know his work and things like that, but knowing the man, I'm just listening to him, I was like, whoa. Heavy is the head that wears the crown, right? He knows his worth. I'll just say that. He knows who he is. He knows his worth. Their storyline is it's about timing, needing more time. Ashley wants him to spend more time with the kids and things of that nature and in the home life, because she basically has set her dreams aside to make his dreams a reality, and now she wants him to do the same for her. That's their storyline. That's where their struggle point is. Her schedule is getting extensive, where his is completely extensive, and that's where they that's where the rock the boat. But he understands it. He's not fighting. He's not fighting it. He's saying, I'm willing, but I just got to figure out how I'm gonna do it. So that's their storyline. That's their storyline. And then it's just her personality that's going to carry her through the show. She messy. Oh, she messy. She is messy. She's comical. She's comical with her mess, but she's messy. Miss Ashley, I see you, girl. I see you. I think you're going to be big fun. You're going to be big fun. Very Kenya, it's just going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot of that back and forth. There's going to be people that can't stand Ashley, and there's going to be people who just literally love her to death. Good space, Ashley. You're in a good spot. Okay, Monique, watch her, honey. Watch her. Moving on. Next person is Irena Tyler and her husband, Jamie. That's Big Jamie. She's 48 years old. She looks great. She has a younger spirit. So right away, she has a younger spirit. She's 48. They've been married for 26 years. Jamie, nice looking. They're a very youthful, older couple. Is basically what they are. They're sharp couple. They are TikTok famous. They're TikTok famous. She has 3 other businesses. Jamie does what Jamie does. He's a party promoter. He throws big, lavish parties. He has a big name in the industry there. They came right in. He said he won her over. She actually didn't like light-skinned men. She was prone to darker-skinned men, and he beat that thing down, and he won her over, and he got her. 26 years later, here they are. They seem to have fun together. They I get a good vibe. They seem to really like each other and still are into each other after all these years. And that's it. They have 2 sons and a daughter. One of her sons is vision impaired, and one of the other sons they told us is pretty much estranged from the dad. I'm gonna get into that in a minute because y'all tried to pull our leg on that, but I'm gonna drag you. I'm gonna drag right out the door. I'm gonna drag, yes, Serena and Jamie. I'm gonna drag y'all right away, and then we'll get, things cool. But I'm a SpillitBoyTV you real quick, so just hold on. But their mom, her mom, Mama T, actually is Irena's mom. She lives with them as well. She actually helps with their one son that is vision impaired, and she, again, families, black families, a lot of time when our parents get up there in age, they come to stay with us. That's that is normal in melanated life. So that's really cool. Like I said, the other child, the oldest, his name is Little Jamie. He's a namesake. He doesn't get along with Big Jamie at all, and they basically have been on the outs since he was 16, is what they led us to believe. Okay, so like I said, I'm gonna get back to that in a minute. Okay, so let's move on. Then we meet really quickly. We met Winter Williams, MBA. Okay, Winter. First thing you notice about Winter has a real crazy hairstyle. Her hair is literally cut bald. This whole side is bald like me, and then she has the hair on the other side. We see that hairstyle all the time. Who is it? Janae? Is it Janae Aiko that has that? Or no, it was Cassie. That's who had that. Cassie, you know that it's me and you. Now I've been waiting. That Cassie that used to fool around with Diddy and all that. She was with Diddy, brand and all that. So that hairstyle, but her hair was just kind of like it was cut low. No, Winter Williams. Winter's is bald. So that was that. So right from the door, the girls kind of just was looking at her, and Ashley's like, anytime I see a woman got her hair cut real crazy like that, honey, she got something going on, honey. That's what the girls was giving. I said, oh, Lord. So I said, oh, so we see how y'all going to be throwing shade at each other a little bit. But we got to see her. She was like the keynote speaker for this event that Monique had when we were opening up the show. And she talks about the fact that she's a mom of 4, and her husband was a football player, and her first husband or spouse, she said spouse, because I don't know if she's married to him or not, but she said she said spouse. And I think she did refer to husband number 1, husband number 2 later on. So we just go with that. He's married. The first husband ended up cheating on her with the nanny and having 2 kids by the nanny. So her background, they were right. I don't know that it's really so much about her haircut, but they were right. She had a lot of stuff in her background. I was like, oh gosh. So as she's speaking and telling her story, that's part of her little speech that she was doing, that damn Ashley was sitting over there shading the hell out of her. Shading and sitting next to Irena, and she's like, child, I'm bored. And when I'm bored, I drink. I'm on my 4th drink. She's boring me. I was like, oh, Miss Ashley, you are too much, honey. You are too much. And then as the night went on, she was like throwing little jabs at Irena. She said, pointing out, how much older that Irena was than the rest of them, and trying to tell Irena how she had to like be screwing her man and doing her man to keep her man interested. And Irena kept it very, very classy. Very, very classy. And she was like, I ain't even going there because he's here for a reason. I don't know what her issue is, but he's here for a reason, child. She paid her dust pretty much and let her do what she do. That's why I said we learned right away. Ashley don't care what Ashley say. Ashley like to have fun. She like to make jokes. And the only problem is people like that, they feel comfortable doing that all the time, making jokes and taking little jabs and throwing shade. But everybody doesn't like to be the punchline of your jokes. That's where issues come in at. Your little roast to your little gags. When I didn't tell you it was okay to roast and gag me, that's how we end up pulling hair and rolling on the floor. So I see it, honey. I see it coming. Anyway, but she was throwing that little ageism shade at her, girl, giving, honey, I was only 10 when you got married, girl. Oh, I was like, oh, God. Anyway, so that's that whole thing. Now, this is something that started off really early on in the episode Monique had already gotten on. She got on my nerves. She at that point she was talking about because Irena had invited everybody to her anniversary party. Okay, it was the 26th anniversary because they were 25 and this 26th anniversary party. And Monique was pushing, saying, "Oh, I think y'all should do a Q&A." And I was like, "Who does a Q&A at their anniversary party?" I mean, okay. Listen, that's some of that Married to Medicine stuff. Like they do retreats where it's a couples retreat, and they do that. That I can see, but an actual party given in an actual beautiful hall, and you have all these guests and of all different ages, and just people that have come through, walked through you all's lives. No. And they has said it flat out, girl, no, we're not doing that. We'll do that another time. We can answer questions for you all. We we're becoming friends. We'll share. But it turned into a thing. She really was pushing. Like, she kept pushing. And I was like, Monique, I'm going to need you to shut up with this, about this Q&A. Like, she was becoming overbearing with it. And I was like, geez, anyway. So, Chris and Monique, we go over to their house another day. We see them. He's working out. You know, he's doing his little workout thing, and threw Monique out of the workout because she over there running her mouth. Him and his little workout partner, they done threw her out. I said, "Shout, here she goes. Bye, Monique." I threw her right on out. I just laughed. She's like, "Oh, so y'all don't want to hear what I got to say?" Not at all, girl. Goodbye. That was funny. She took her little self and went on off. I just laughed at her. But again, every scene that we see her, let me say this. It was that, and it was the shade that she throws at Real Housewives of Potomac. Now that, I thought was crazy. Because that for me is kind of stupid, because Monique, you definitely have some feel. We know that. You have some feelings about the whole situation with Real Housewives of Potomac, and you're not happy. She only keeps in touch with two people from the show, and that is Karen Huger and Ashley Darby, and everybody else she deems is pretty much unimportant. She said, you know, she's cool with Bravo, the network. She's cool with Andy, but those are the only two people she hold any regards for. She can't stand Giselle, so she still ain't here for Giselle. But anyway, every time you mentioned Real Housewives of Potomac, and then you can say, that other show, it looked silly. One time, okay. But when we got around the fourth or fifth time of that other show, it started, you look crazy. Because you do realize what you're doing is, instead of moving on, did you move on? Did you move on, or are you still bitter Betty? Because every time you mentioned it, you ain't doing nothing but giving them publicity. You're doing nothing but giving them publicity. And it'd be different if this show was on Bravo. It's not. This show is on OWN. So you're using Oprah's network and Carlos King's production to promote Bravo and Andy's show that you mad about, that you ain't on no more. That other show. We wasn't thinking about it. We're here for what you got going on now. Stop mentioning Real Housewives of Potomac. Just stop mentioning it. Because after you said about the fourth or fifth time, it was like, girl, you seem a little pressed. You ain't done with that little situation. You mad as hell. So that's just my thing. I was like, girl, you ain't hurting them by, shading them. You're not hurting them at all. You're literally, people are going to go over there to see what it was that was so bad, honey, or what are you missing? You ain't doing but sending folks their way. I'm just saying. Y'all tell me in them comments, do you agree that all of that is free promo for real? Because everybody knows that other show. Everybody knows what you're talking about. That ain't nothing but free promo for your past sister circle. That's free promo, sweetheart. But okay, let's move on. I get off of it. That and every time she's kept mentioning this Q&A, she was dragging it into the ground. I was like, Monique, girl, give me a headache. Dragging us into the ground about this Q&A. The people said they don't want to do that at their party. You a guest at the party. You ain't running the party. You're not the party planner. Knock it off. Anyway, moving on. Okay, so then we see this scene where little Jamie and Irena end up going, he's going to buy a car. Now this is straight. He's 25 years old. He don't really deal with them. He don't deal with his parents and stuff, and it's been a while. She said he called me to come with him to get the car because he's scared to call his dad. So we're like saying, okay, he's scared. I know they hadn't been talking, but when you go into telling me that he's scared to talk to his dad, so this shit is really out of whack. At the point that one of your kids are scared, like they're scared to talk to you, physically scared to talk to you, and because naturally a boy and his dad would be the ones that would go pick out a car for him. It really wouldn't be him and his mom if the dad was involved. But when you're saying that the reason being is that he's scared to talk to him, I'm like, their shit's raggedy as a bowl of yakame. So I'm like, all right, so what's really going on? So then we have this whole scene with the two of them, and she's saying, you know, you were running with the wrong kids, you know, and this, that, and the other. So, and that's all she was saying. This is where I got really pissed, because this is a reality television show. It's a reality television show. Irena, let me tell you something, sweetheart. Either you going to tell it or you not going to tell it. But what you're not going to do is sit here and play in our goddamn face. You're not going to do that. Either you going to tell it or you ain't going to tell it. Because at this point, I don't know what the hell you talking about. You telling me that your boy and he's scared of his daddy. You know, to even have a conversation with his daddy over the phone? What is so bad? What is going on? Now, I'm going to tell you, at this part of the show, I'm just sitting here going through my mind. Y'all tell me if this is what you did. I'm like, okay, so is he gay? Is he dealing drugs? Is he on drugs? Is he gang banging? It got to be one of them four things, because those are the four things that cause that type of breakdown, to where you ain't talking for months at a time to your people, and then you say you scared to talk to them, and it's your daddy. Not your mama, but your daddy. So, you know, the first one that came up, actually the first one that came up was drugs. Is he on drugs? But I'm looking at him, and he's sharp as hell. He looks just like the two of them. He looks just like the two of them, and then his own little thing. He kind of looks like a modern-day Albie Shore. Cute little fella. Cute little fella. Good-looking kid. Still, he's all dressed real nice. His hair's done. He got dreads. His dreads were done to perfection. Done to perfection. Looked like they were freshly twisted. So the drug thing went out the window. He hadn't spoken yet, so I'm just looking at him and his aesthetic, and I'm like, okay, so was he selling drugs? Because he don't look like he on drugs, but you know, you kind of mask that if you ain't real far into it. But for things them not to be speaking of stuff, you're probably pretty far in if it's you using drugs. So are you using drugs or are you selling drugs? And then once I kind of got past that, I just looked like he ain't really hard. Like, well, I mean, he could be maybe selling drugs. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Then I'm looking, I said, well, is the child gay? Are you part of the rainbow? Is that why you and daddy ain't hitting it? And, you know, y'all need to sit down and figure that thing out and have a conversation? Okay, that's a hard one. It's a hard one, but we can work through that. That ain't, you know, we'll figure it out. Either we're going to be family or we ain't going to be family. It ain't no real big deal, but it can be worked out. But all this fear of talking, that's bullcrap. And then the other one, I'm like, I don't know. Like, what else? What could it be? No drugs, no selling it. You gang banging? You don't look like you gang banging. So, what's going on? And then that's where, and then they ended the scene where, you know, she goes to crying, and she's crying now. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And when that scene went off and it went to commercial break, I'm telling you, I was hollering at the TV, Irena, either tell it or don't. Because you could have just filmed without him even being a part. Tell it or don't. And I mean, at the house, they had a whole situation of, I told him about coming to the party. I want him to come to the party. And the dad said, I don't think he even want to come. I don't think he even want to come. You know, he was real, had a whole little bitter kind of disdain thing going on. And I'm like, what is going on here? So that's where I was at. Either tell it or don't. Let's move on. Let's go on to the party, okay? We're going to the party. Winter. Winter comes in and she starts telling a little bit more about her situation. So we got the whole thing. She comes to the party by herself, and she has a second husband, okay, because she's supposed to be like so much happier now. After she told the story of how her first marriage and that went, she gets a second husband, but she tells him she ain't seen this in 6 months. They not together. She ain't seen her husband in 6 months. He named Kevin. He 59 years old. 59, okay? And they've been married for a total of a year. She ain't seen him in 6 months, and he done moved back with his mother. I said, what? What you talking about? So, listen, Winter's another one. Winter's going to be very interesting. I think these are our two most interesting individuals on this show is Miss Ashley Silva and Miss Winter Williams. I think are going to be their storylines are going to be the most. We want to know what is going on. We want to know what the hell Winter got going on, and Ashley, we want to know what is you going to say. Them is going to be our two. My eyes going to be on them too. Sure enough, we get there. Everybody's there at the party. Little Jamie actually shows up, and this is where it got very confusing for me, and it kind of made me give my little to Irena and her whole little family situation in their storyline, because he comes in and he goes right to his daddy. He comes in with his lady friend. Everybody looking real good. Comes on in. The dad, Irena says, look, little James just came in. And he says, well, I can't believe he even showed up. But being as though he did, I hope he just don't do nothing to piss me off. So I'm like, do he be coming to shit and turning it out? Do he flip the table? What's going on with little Jamie? And then little Jamie comes in, him and his lady friend, he goes straight to his daddy. Straight to him. See, now I'm looking at y'all crazy, because you just told me he was scared to hold a conversation with him. He went straight to his daddy and said, come on, I want to talk to you for a minute. No, baby, that don't look like scared to talk to daddy. He rolled up on daddy like a whole man. I want to talk to you for a minute. And they went on off to the side and had a nice conversation. It was a nice conversation, a nice father-son conversation that ain't had nothing to do with really much of nothing that was worth filming. You know, it was just the whole, I love you. I know we ain't getting along. I know we ain't been talking, but I still love you. Yeah, you doing some things that I ain't really, I ain't teach you to do that. And it was like about some weed. Something about some weed. And I said again, either tell it or don't tell none of it, because this look crazy. Y'all got us looking crazy, and y'all looking crazy, because I don't even know why y'all being filmed right now. I still love you. Okay. All right. And they hugged it out. He said, sometime I need to hear you tell me that you love me. Okay. Now that sound like any conversation with any 25-year-old and their daddy. Daddies don't talk as much as mamas talk. So, I mean, yeah, sometimes you got to have them conversations. I get it. But that ain't worth filming. Sorry. That ain't no storyline. Y'all have to do better. So I gave them very much, get on, honey. I'm going to tell you, I was more enamored with the dress that Irena had on than I was with that whole little exchange. Honey, Irena looked real cute, honey. That's a real pretty dress, honey. Anyway, moving on, honey. Monique and Chris got on my goddamn nerves. Sitting there trying to push the issue of the question and answer thing at the party. And they say, are you trying to make us do the question? We're not doing that tonight. And then after the party was over, the next day, Chris and Monique sitting there filming, talking. They got an attitude. They kind of got an attitude and fussing at the fact that the people wouldn't let them get in their damn business. And they're like, well, we're just building a friendship, and maybe, yeah, you think? Y'all didn't plan the party. It can't be what you want. They got on my nerves. I said, do better. I was pretty done with that whole little thing. But anyway, this is it. This is what we got going on. Like I said, there's some real good elements here. And again, this is Carlos King. I trusted with my whole being. So I will be sitting right here and I will be watching. And he's had great success over here with he had the Bell Collective. They did real well. And he also has Love and Marriage Huntsville, which is doing amazing. And listen, we're in. I just started this at the beginning. So I'm here for the ride. Okay. Anyway, y'all hit the comments. Tell me what y'all think about this. I like it. I like it, and I'm here to watch. It's going to be interesting to watch the rise and the fall, because it's always a rise and a fall in reality. I want to see what's going to go on. There's a show inside of a show when you're watching reality TV shows. Get into it. I'll talk to y'all next week.